"Sir, you can't touch that tree." The woman's voice cut through the morning air before I could even put the shovel back in my truck. I turned around and saw her marching across my lawn like she owned the place. Linda Harper, the HOA president, the same woman who had sent me 7 violation letters in 3 months. I looked at the tree standing near the edge of my yard. It was huge. Thick branches covered almost my entire front view. "I'm not cutting it down," I said calmly. "I'm just checking the roots." Linda folded her arms. "That tree is protected by HOA rules. Any changes need approval." I stared at her for a second. "This tree is on my property, and this neighborhood has standards." That was always her answer. Standards, rules, authority. Things she loved talking about. I had bought this house only 6 months earlier, after retiring from the Army, after 22 years of service. All I wanted was peace, a quiet home, a mountain view. Instead, every time I opened my front door, all I saw was that giant tree. The funny thing was that the view had been one of the reasons I bought the house. The real estate photos clearly showed the mountains. What they didn't show was how fast this tree had grown. A week later, I submitted a request to remove it. Denied. Then I offered to pay for moving it. Denied again. The explanation was only one sentence. "Tree placement is important for community appearance." That sentence cost me my view. Most people would have argued. Most people would have hired lawyers. I did something else. I started reading. Every HOA rule, every landscaping guideline, every amendment, every page, night after night. Linda thought she was fighting a tired veteran who just wanted a better view. She had no idea what she had started. 3 weeks later, neighbors woke up and almost drove into mailboxes when they saw my front yard. The tree was still there, but now it looked like a giant mushroom. Perfectly trimmed, perfectly healthy, perfectly legal. By noon, half the neighborhood was standing across the street taking pictures. At 2 p.m., Linda showed up. She looked like she was about to explode. "What have you done?" I smiled. "Landscaping." "You made the tree look ridiculous." "Show me the rule that says I can't." For the first time since I moved in, she had no answer. Her face turned red. Then she leaned closer and lowered her voice. "This isn't over." I thought that was just another threat. I was wrong, because later that night, while checking my security cameras, I saw something that made my stomach tighten. At exactly 11:47 p.m., someone was standing beside my tree, and they were holding a chainsaw.
I replayed the footage 3 times. The person wore a dark hoodie and kept looking around before stepping closer to the tree. Then the chainsaw started. The screen shook as the blade touched the trunk. But after only a few seconds, headlights suddenly appeared from the street. The person panicked. They shut the chainsaw off and ran. The vehicle passing by never stopped. It was just a random car, but it had scared whoever was trying to destroy my tree. I zoomed in on the footage. The face was hidden. The license plate couldn't be seen. But one detail caught my attention. The person was wearing bright red gardening gloves. The next morning, I saved the video and headed outside. Half the neighborhood was already talking about the mushroom tree. Some people loved it, some hated it, but everyone was talking about it. That seemed to bother Linda more than anything. Around noon, she marched toward my driveway carrying a clipboard. "This tree has become a disturbance." I almost laughed. "A disturbance? People are gathering here. They're standing on the sidewalk. They're mocking the neighborhood." "No," I replied. "They're mocking you." Her eyes narrowed instantly. For a moment, I thought she might actually throw the clipboard at me. Instead, she handed me another violation notice. I read it. Then I read it again. The violation claimed my tree was creating a visual nuisance. I looked up. "That's not in the HOA handbook." Linda smiled. "It is now." That made me pause. HOA boards could create new rules, but not like this. Not overnight. Not without a vote. And definitely not without notifying homeowners. Something wasn't right. That evening, I attended the monthly HOA meeting. The community hall was packed. Word about the tree had spread faster than anyone expected. As soon as Linda stood up, she pointed directly at me. "This homeowner is intentionally lowering property values." Several people nodded, but before she could continue, an older man near the back raised his hand. "I'd like to see the vote records." The room went quiet. Linda froze. What vote records? The ones approving the new visual nuisance rule. A few neighbors exchanged confused looks. Then another resident spoke up. I never received any notice. Neither did anyone else. Now people were whispering. Questions started flying from every direction. Linda's confidence slowly disappeared. She shuffled through her papers. Administrative adjustments don't require... Yes, they do, someone interrupted. The room suddenly turned against her. For the first time, she looked nervous. Very nervous. Then something even stranger happened. A man I had never seen before entered the meeting carrying a thick folder. He walked straight toward Linda. "Excuse me," he said. "I believe these belong to you." The color drained from her face. She recognized the folder immediately. Everyone could see it, and whatever was inside that folder, Linda clearly never wanted anyone in this room to see it.
The man placed the folder on the table. Nobody said a word. Linda looked like she had just seen a ghost. "Where did you get that?" she asked quietly. The man smiled. "County records." A few people immediately leaned forward. The room was completely silent. Then he opened the folder. Inside were copies of HOA financial reports, meeting records, and approval forms. At first, nobody understood why Linda looked so worried. Then the man pulled out another document. "This is interesting," he said. "What is?" someone asked. "This signature." He held the paper up. "It belongs to a homeowner who died 2 years ago." The room exploded. "What? That can't be real." People jumped out of their seats. The man continued. "There are 6 more documents with signatures from people who never attended these meetings." Linda's hand started shaking. Suddenly, an older woman stood up. "Wait a minute. That's my name." Everyone turned. She pointed directly at one of the forms. "I never signed that." Another homeowner stood. "Neither did I." Then another. And another. The entire room was turning against Linda. Years of fake votes. Years of fake approvals. Years of pretending she had authority she never actually had. Then came the biggest twist. The man with the folder wasn't just a random resident. He worked for the county property compliance office. Someone had anonymously reported suspicious HOA activity months earlier. An investigation had been running in secret. Linda never knew. The room became chaos. People were demanding answers. Others were demanding her resignation. Then Linda suddenly pointed at me. "This is his fault." The room turned toward me. "He started all of this because of that stupid tree." I slowly stood up. "No, Linda." The room fell silent again. "I didn't expose you." I pointed toward the folder. "You exposed yourself." For the first time all night, nobody argued, because everyone knew it was true. The county investigator looked at Linda. "Ma'am, we're going to need you to come with us." Her face turned white. "What?" "We have evidence of document fraud and misuse of HOA funds." The room gasped. Then 2 sheriff deputies entered through the back door. Linda looked around desperately. Nobody helped her. Not one person. The woman who had spent years controlling everyone suddenly had no power at all. As deputies escorted her out, she stopped near me. "You think you've won?" I looked at her calmly. "No." Then I glanced toward the window. "My tree won." Several people laughed. Even the deputies smiled. The next few weeks brought more surprises. The investigation uncovered thousands of dollars in missing HOA funds. Multiple fake violations were thrown out. Several homeowners received refunds, and the HOA board was completely replaced. Then one afternoon, the new board knocked on my door. The chairman held out a document. We voted unanimously. I looked down. It was approval to relocate the tree. No arguments, no conditions, no hidden rules, just approval. A month later, professionals carefully moved the tree to another corner of my yard. For the first time since buying the house, I could finally see the mountains. The view was even better than I remembered. But something funny happened. The neighborhood missed the famous mushroom tree. Kids kept asking about it. People kept talking about it. So every year after that, I trimmed the tree into a different shape. A rocket. A castle. A giant eagle. People came from other neighborhoods just to see it. What started as one woman's attempt to control a homeowner became the thing that brought the entire community together. And every time someone asked why I never gave up, I gave them the same answer. You don't need to break the rules to beat people who think they're above them. The mountain view finally came back. The HOA corruption was gone. The neighborhood got its freedom back. And the tree that was supposed to be a problem became a local legend.